Let's stand please for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We have a full slate of business to transact tonight. And the first thing we will start with is a public hearing.
Okay, so we'll go on the record here at 7:02 for this public hearing at Herman City Hall, Board of Alderman Chambers. This hearing is to consider Beth Osler's application for liquor sales for outdoor consumption at 113 West Fifth Street, a restaurant bar property which is in the C1 zone. This is intended to be a somewhat formal hearing. A transcript is being prepared and will be available after the hearing. The applicant will have the opportunity to speak and make her presentation. If she has any documents, photos, or any tangible evidence upon which she wants the board to rely, this also will be allowed. If she would like for an attorney to speak on her behalf, this also will be allowed. And if she has any witnesses whom she desires to speak on her behalf, this too will be allowed. The board may ask as many applicants, or may ask as many questions to the applicant as it desires. The board will also give an opportunity to others in the room to speak if they want to. And whether this application is granted shall be determined by a majority of the board by vote. And the city will examine the following exhibits. Exhibit 1 is the conditional use permit application. Exhibit 2 is the affidavit of publication from the Herman Advertiser-Courier. Exhibit 3 is the notice of public hearing that was given of both the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and this meeting. Exhibit 4 is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes, and in particular, the minutes reflect that Ronald Van Boeven made a motion to recommend approval of only the 5.5 foot by 40 foot patio in front of the building that will be roped off for outdoor alcohol consumption until 10 p.m. This motion was seconded and passed. The commission did not approve the back patio request. And Exhibit 5 is the entire Code of Ordinances of the City of Herman. And Mayor Kerber, do you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
I do.
You may proceed.
Before we do that, would it be, should we have Ryan as a member? Does he need to go over the minutes of the planning and zoning? Any key elements of that? Or should we just move forward?
That's entirely up to the board. The minutes are the minutes. They kind of say what they say, and I think.
Well, I think he's covered it.
Yeah.
Just to kind of recap what happened at planning and zoning and what was discussed. There was concerns about the back portion that borders R1, the R1 district, just because we've had, there's been issues in the past, and also in the past we've denied applications that back up into R1 or border R1, and most of the ones we've approved, I didn't go through all of them, but most of the ones, all of the ones that the board, the Planning and Zoning Commission could remember was a C1, but that backs into a C1. So if there was other commercial around it, those are the ones that were approved. The ones that have not been approved in the past were, for outdoor liquor sales, were borderline to R1. So that was the main reason, and then that was also the reason why the front was approved, because the front does border commercial, and so that's kind of why it was kind of a split decision or a split recommendation, was because the front borders commercial and the back borders residential, R1. So that's kind of how it played out.
It's my understanding that none of the commission went and actually looked at the location. Am I correct on that?
Well, I don't know if no one looked at it. I mean, I know, I think Jeff went by there, but I think we had aerial pictures and photos that were provided for the people that didn't see it. But yeah, there's,
I personally don't have a problem with it. I lived directly behind there for many years. And I went and looked at it today, and where that's located, there's actually a buffer, and then in the alley, there's a big garage to block the one house, and then where I lived. You will have more noise, I believe, coming from the Eagle Hall when they have a big wedding and everybody goes out the back door to cool off, and that's from my experience of living there, than you would with what she's trying to do here. That's just my opinion.
yeah.
Was this a bar when you lived there?
No, this building was not a bar, but Bavarian Inn, which is not there anymore, where the little barbecue place was not too long ago, they used to have a patio out back with music and that. I mean, the worst part about when I lived there is that they had their porta potties right there, and it was interesting, but to say the least. But as far as noise and that, when the Eagle Hall has a big wedding and it's summertime and that, they all go out in the back and congregate and get pretty loud, you know. So that's just my opinion.
I tend to agree with Bruce. I've been at a lot of wedding receptions at the Eagle Hall and actually at St. George. And the noise generated by them can get pretty impressive. I've actually had to walk around buildings to use a phone to call somebody or answer a phone call.
Well, there's nobody controlling that, where she would have
Yes, I agree.
somebody working there, if they're getting rowdy, go out and say, hey,
This hole back behind this building, if you're going to put an outdoor area for people to smoke and be able to drink, to me is the perfect location.
the only thing that I sent an email, I believe, that I would recommend is putting some type of fence instead of just a rope, something to contain them, because otherwise they can just walk up out the alley with their drinks and so forth.
Actually, I go
Is
over
this-
there and talk to them.
Is this a place where, I guess we're gonna let her, Beth, is this place where you're gonna do the back? Is it gonna be added on? Is it already there, or is it raised up?
It's already there, so basically it is kind of in a hole. It's down the ramp of the alley. It's kind of sandwiched, there's the smokehouse and then the edge of the building. And basically we'd like to do something, and I actually think a privacy fence is a really good idea. Because again, out of sight, out of mind, and that would, just help corral people, which would be fine. So basically it's separated off by one area of the building and then the smokehouse. And then it just kind of goes downhill, down the rest of the hill. So what I'd like to do is create it's more of a gravel patio, because we get really bad water back there. It's just a waterfall and heavy rain. So they kind of help with the watershed as well. So create that and then fence it off and have that be an area where people can go outside, because it's a non-smoking establishment, so people are gonna wanna go somewhere.
Do they have to go from that area through the building, or can they exit and come in and out in the back?
Yes, so basically it's two phases. The first phase is what we're doing now, down below. And then the up top is only accessible from the front of the building, and you have to go up, and you can only access that back area from the garage door or the side door that we put in next to it.
So you can't be up there and then walk out and go to your car and come back?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want that to be a high traffic
And when
area.
are you gonna do this? Is it,
As soon as the other one's going. Phases. So that would be, basically, phase one is a lower area, phase two is upper.
okay. Is this contingent, does this have to be approved so you can go on with the other part of it? Or can this wait until you're ready to start it?
It would be nice in the planning process to know that that's available to do it when I'm doing the budget and everything like that. It would be nice to have it all in one.
Okay.
Well, this, 3 times since I've been sitting in this seat, it's been brought up in this room by Alderman Cox about a smoking ban here in town. I am not in favor of that. That's my own personal opinion, but I'm also realistic enough to know it is coming. If not by us, maybe by the next board, either at a local, state, or federal level. We have a lady here who has spent an awful lot of money on some derelict buildings here in town, and she's trying to protect her investment. And since it's going to become necessary in the future for these buildings and facilities like this to have an outdoor smoking area where they can go, we have here an opportunity to try a test case to see if it will work.
Now, we're not giving her a license to kill here. This is a conditional use permit. We can set whatever conditions we want, any time frame, what's allowed there and everything else. I know we do a lot of 6 months conditional permits, as a test, and from May through October is 6 months. As long as there's not loud music and there's a definite cutoff time for the outdoor activities, I really don't have a problem with it.
Well, I don't get to vote anyway, so what difference does it make? It's
Doesn't
so-
our
Unless
ordinance
there's a
say
tie.
Unless there's a tie, yeah.
no noise or music after 10?
I think it usually is no, the music off at 10 and everything's off at 11. That's what we usually talk about.
So
But
her
I don't
back
think that's the
patio could
ordinance.
be open then?
That could be, that's just kind of a rule.
That would be a little bit different with her because it would be a business license. What those all apply to is like when we have something at the amphitheater or whatever. So her business license would be, I think, closing at 1 o'clock, I think.
And the bank bar has done fine with their back patio and being open later.
Right, that one was commercial to commercial.
Yeah, that's all commercial, but
Yeah, this is a little different. I'm not trying to imply that it's not, but,
well, like you say, it's a conditional use permit, and she's not gonna do it immediately. I would say, give her a year, and if it's up and running, and if we have complaints, then we address them,
like I said, with a conditional use permit, if it gets out of hand, we don't have to wait. We can pull it anytime we want to.
I think it'll make the back and that alley, that'll make it look a lot nicer. It looks pretty rough now.
Yeah, it's
She's
not
like
pretty
fix
back
it
there.
up
Right, yeah. It's,
and make a nice outdoor area, which people like.
yeah. And we don't want to do music or anything
Yeah.
outside. Basically, this is just for a place for smokers, So no music on the front, no music in the back. If we have that garage door open, you might have a little bit of music coming from the inside out, but that's not going to be extremely loud.
Beth, which side is the garage? Sorry, the garage, probably it's on the east side of the building?
No, it's on the north side of the building.
North
It's
side,
the
in the
due
back.
Yeah, on the back. So it's actually the second level. It has this garage,
Okay, okay.
and the ramp kind of goes down into the garage.
Sorry.
So,
Believe it or
it's
not,
got
they
it's
used to
place
back
to go
grain
see.
trucks into that second story.
yeah, they used to, you can still see
Yeah.
the oil stains on the floor.
Yeah.
Do we need to have her come forward? And I think do we need to discuss this anymore?
If anybody's here.
Or
Yeah.
we could ask our applicant if there's anything else you'd like to say.
Not really. Yeah, like, if they have any questions about, what I would do back there.
I think
But
I asked
basically-
everything I could
Yeah.
possibly ask. Anybody
I'm all
else?
good.
Is there anybody here that would like to comment on this?
Well, I'd like to comment on it. Basically,
Could
you
you
know,
state your name?
my name's Kelly Branson,
Kelly, come up here.
and I will be the manager for the Loose Caboose Saloon. And just want to say that, yes, Bess invested quite a bit of money into the town and trying to fix it up. But she came to this town to improve it and bring people to town. And I think it'd be a good investment and let her get this permit. She went into it knowing that she was going to do it in different phases. Bar was going to be the bottom half. The top was going to be what I wanted to do was pool tables, darts, stuff like that for people to do. But she had to pay for this permit all up at once, so she's trying to do it and say, okay, let's do it in phases, but I put all this money into it. I don't want to have to come back in another 6 months or year to say, oh, now I have to fork out another $300 to come in front of the commission who did not do their homework, who did not go look at what she was proposing. And, I think it's going to be a good thing for this town. Gives people things to do. And, after the wineries close, people got to have something to do. So all she's asking for is this back porch to basically let people smoke, maybe have a couple drinks. It's going to be, fence and everything put back up in there. And then the front's going to be a little area for the smokers. And basically, we don't want people out drinking that much out on the patio as much in the front. We want them inside. Ain't gonna be no music or anything like that, so that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kelly. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on this matter?
I would like to interject one more thing. Beth has come before Landmarks Commission on several occasions, and no matter what we do, if you want to talk about people that are very picky and got a lot of rules, well, that bunch is. She has complied willingly with everything they have asked, you know, and to any suggestions they had and everything else. I do not believe that if we give her a conditional use permit on this, that we will have any problems on it. If there are any problems, she will take care of them at a good rate, you know. I just, she's been so agreeable on everything that's been asked of her, I really think we ought to try this.
Any further discussion?
I have a question for the chief. Do you have, if we have outdoor, a liquor area for another business, do you have to have proper signs and not let people out? I mean, does it have to be totally enclosed, or how has it been in the past?
It would help as long as there's signs or anything that says, you know, open containers past this point or whatever, as long as they see that posted, it would help.
Yeah.
You know, if they go past that fence or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like.
I
it's
see her
pretty
nodding
standard.
her head, so I think she's okay with that.
I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that, you know, we don't have to put specifics in the,
Well, I was made it very clear when we discussed this to them that signage would be very important with this, and people have to be informed that that's an enclosed area, and leaving it would violate a city ordinance with an open container. So
And I think
And we don't want them to leave, we want them to come back inside.
that,
That's the goal anyway.
I think planning and zoning also said, recommended that the front liquor not be allowed outside after 10, is that what it was?
That's what they said, they were concerned about that. I would like, if it would be possible, to have the entire hourly, you know, entire open hours, just because people are gonna be so used to come, if you're a smoker, you come in and out, you're not gonna look at the clock, and that's gonna be a little bit harder to regulate. I think they were concerned about the noise that it might create. But, and again, if we've got problems with the noise out there, then I don't want that either, you know? And like I said, I'd like to have them inside, so, I think they were just concerned about the noise, and that's why they were putting the cap on it. But people smoke past 10.
So-
They're gonna be out there anyway.
So what is it that we're gonna vote on? We're gonna allow this, and is there any time limitation on it, or? What's your
somebody needs to
motion?
make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve both, and then give her 1 year for us to check
With a fence, privacy fence?
the private, well, I think you'll have that done within a year,
Yeah, I think yeah.
and that way she'll be up and running, and we'll
Yeah.
see if there's
So
any
privacy
problems.
fence on the back, and then ropes on the front. That would look good.
So,
Privacy fence.
I guess my motion is to approve both of them.
Both of them as in, what about the time thing she just asked about?
Well, I think it should be business hours myself, but, I mean, that's...
What are the business hours?
Till 1.
To what?
On Friday and Saturday.
On Friday, sorry, on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
I think it was
And what is it the other time?
11.
11.
11, okay.
So I make my motion to approve both
The front and back patio?
the front and the back with regular business hours, and also on the back to make sure that it's fenced, and then in a year to check on her, or whatever you call that.
Now, you guys do understand that it's up to you to make sure this works, right?
Yeah, for the
Second.
example.
Okay,
Dave,
is there any further discussion? We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Dave.
All right.
Does that conclude the,
That'll conclude the hearing.
okay. That concludes the hearing. We are now moving to my report, and I will say that I had not originally intended to report the first matter, but I had put it in my report, my mayor's column for the newspaper, and they didn't want this in the newspaper, so I feel the citizens need to know about this, and I'm going to talk about it now. So bear with me, my report is a little bit longer because of that, but I'll get through it as quick as I can. The Wilkins case is over. The city has been asked many times to comment on this case, and we have not done so because we've been legally advised not to. For almost a year, the only public comments came from the defendant in the case, a local blog master, and the Herman Advertiser-Courier. During this time, all three of these sources often described the case as being about noise and lights, but it never was. The only information available came from these sources, with virtually nothing coming from the city of Herman, because our policy is to not discuss currently active legal matters. It was never the city's intention or objective to stop the defendant from carrying out the activities necessary for him to legally operate his guest house business, and we did not attempt to do this. With the lawsuit resolved, we are now free to discuss the case. I would like to explain the facts now, and hopefully, if the defendant abides by the promises he signed off on in the consent judgment, we will not discuss this anymore. It's up to him. Time will tell. The day after the election, Mr. Wilkins' attorney contacted our city attorney and said he was ready to agree to the negotiated agreement. Mr. Wilkins did not write the agreement, as has been reported other places. On April 17th, he came to City Hall and signed the consent judgment, and on April 19th of this year, Circuit Court Judge Hellman approved the consent judgment, resulting in effectively stopping the commercial activities at 123 East 3rd Street that caused the city's injunction in the first place. The city is satisfied that he has achieved its original goals through this court order. Now, if there are violations, the defendant will have to deal directly with the Circuit Court. This case was about more than lights and noise, as you were led to believe. It was and is about enforcing our laws and our ordinances. A city is only as good as its people's behavior, and Herman spends over $900,000 a year on our police department, dispatchers, and attorneys to ensure that our laws are enforced and our citizens are safe. This is what cities do. Enforcing city ordinances is not optional. It is not based on some dollar threshold above which we will give up and let the lawbreakers continue to break the law. This case shows that the city is serious about having people obey the law, no matter who they are. If the defendant abides by his written promises, we will be able to quickly move on to better use of the city's time and money. We have already started to do that. In the next few months, you will hear a lot of discussion regarding ordinances, some new and some old. These ordinances will center on safety, such as safety concerning public transportation, short and long-term housing rentals, and public nuisance laws, including removing dangerous properties, reducing the number of nuisance properties, and improving eyesore properties. We will begin tonight with transportation. We have a lot of work to do, and I do not like to, as they say, pay for the same real estate twice. So let's move on to other work and leave the consent judgment as nothing more than a footnote in Herman history. Long Range Planning Commission. Late last year, I proposed establishing this commission as an ongoing planning tool which could bridge the terms of elected officials. It would allow projects to continue development even if mayors and aldermen or women change. I'm establishing this commission in a developmental status for 90 days, after which an ordinance may be brought to the Board of Aldermen for formal authorization and commission member approval. The commission will be very similar to our Utility Advisory Board. In similar fashion, the Long Range Planning Commission has no authority to make any funding decisions or any other functions reserved for the City of Herman, the Board of Aldermen, or Mayor. The commission is merely a planning tool, and we will use the same outline as the Utility Advisory Board. The commission will initially consist of the following committees. The fiber optic project, the project leader will be Brian Shorley, and initial committee members will be Jesse Giltz, Lee Pettyjohn, Mark Wallace, and myself. The caboose refurbishment project, not to be confused with the loose caboose. This project leader is Gary Liebman, with additional committees to be determined. The Riverfront Development Project, this project leader will be Stephanie Hibden, with additional committee members to be determined. The Walk, Bike, Jog Trail Project, project leader and members to be determined. And the Frean Creek Bridge 19S project, project leader and members to be determined. MyFest Committee is planning a tremendous event, one which every Herman citizen will enjoy and be proud of. MyFest 2018 will start off with a children's parade, which I am very proud to lead, and of course we will have German food and drink, vendor booths, a Sunday parade, beer gardens, maypole dancers, craft demonstrations, historic reenactors, walking tours, children's activities, and more. Please see visitherman.com for a complete list of the attractions and events. Worst Fest, wine trail and antique show weekends were all deemed very successful considering periodic bad weather. It's unfortunate, hopefully now the weather's changed and we'll have that problem behind us. Retail business continues to expand. The past 2 calendar years have been the largest sales tax collections in Herman's history, including the years when Papata and Alco were open. Tourism continues to increase. The past 2 calendar years have also been the largest lodging tax collections in Herman history. Industrial business is growing in the industrial park. The city has emphasized industrial job growth and has been working very hard on it. 5 of the industrial corporations located at the industrial park are expanding significantly and either are or will soon be hiring. These are good, steady jobs with health benefits and retirement plans, and they are right here in Herman. Deutschlander USA Year of Germany in the U.S. will be a year-long nationwide celebration which will kick off this October and last through 2019. I have been invited by the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany to participate in the opening ceremonies, which include a formal dinner on Saturday, October 6, 2018, and a parade on Sunday, October 7, 2018, both in Indianapolis, Indiana. I will represent both the city of Herman and our sister city of Bad Arolsen, Germany. And that's my report for tonight. City Administrator.
I always have to follow. Been working with the departments on next year's budget, and Trish is really into that. Meeting with staff and MoDOT and first responders on flood preparation. Now, I received a letter regarding the selling of certain industrial park property, and this would require the board listing the property as surplus and soliciting bids. I'll get into that later. Sent all reports in for the quarterly grants, and the city is waiting for another emergency warning siren. It's scheduled to arrive at any time and will be installed on the east side on Gutenberg, near the cemetery. And there are a few problems with our recycling center, and Ed, Mr. Recycle guy, right there, who does it all for us so well, would like to speak about it for just a little bit.
Thank you, Mark. We've got some problems coming up down there that need to be taken care of. We've got dirty glass coming in there. We've got glass coming in that looks like it's been laying in a ditch for 6 months. Got mud and everything else in it. Cannot be taken. Therefore, I got to take care of that, put it in a dumpster, dispose of it wherever. As far as plastic, there's also glass towed into the plastic. Some of it gets busted. I gotta go to it and get it out of there. Glass cannot go with plastic. There's also a bin down there where people can put their, well, what they bring plastic in or whatever, into the bin only. They're shopping bags. We've had people bring in big bags of stuff and throw it in the dumpster, which fills the dumpster up. It gets picked up once a week. Once the dumpster's full, people don't know what to do with the bags that they bring the plastic in or aluminum cans or whatever. That's another thing that needs to be taken care of. The metal, there's white bins down there. I think I've got like 6 of them down there right now. They get metal put in them only, no aluminum. And on the other side, the aluminum is in a black bin between the metal and the trailer. That's anything that's got a number on the bottom, or not a number on the bottom, but a recycling emblem on the bottom can be recycled. Anything that don't have is metal and cannot be recycled. far as the newspapers, I've had a problem in there where people throwing cardboard in there. I'll get me a box and set out in front where they can put their cardboard in it, they're mixed in with the papers. Well, somebody comes along and pictures it, gets rid of it. Then the people don't know what to do with their cardboard. I mean, it's not a lot of cardboard, but small pieces. And as far as the glass, we've been having a lot of problems, not lately, but a couple months ago, with glass coming in there. That safety glass, we cannot use it. That's got to go in the dumpster and get rid of. Window glass cannot be taken. That's got to go in the dumpster, get rid of it. And the glass does have to be cleaned. The caps taken off of the bottles, the lids off of the jars or whatever comes in. It cannot be on there. That's metal. And if anybody has any questions about what to do with a certain thing, come and talk to me. I'll help them, I'll let them, the best I can, I'll help them the best I can. So if anybody's got any questions, why, I'll be glad to answer them.
It is a problem, maybe not having proper signage down there, giving people proper direction.
I've got signs on everything down there. On the cardboard, it says mash the boxes, flatten boxes. Okay, you got a box in there, you throw it in there, it's a foot square, all the way around. That's taking up 1 foot. If you smash it, you got 1 inch.
Is it mostly, are your problems mostly happening at night when no one's there?
Yes.
Do we need to close that lot after a certain time?
Okay, that's something I want to get to also. Let me run through the rest of this here first. Anyway, on the cardboard, there's signs that says they got to flatten boxes, no clothing, no metal, no paper, no plastic, no styrofoam. There for a while, I had a lot of problems with styrofoam coming in from the different businesses that sell TVs and stuff like that. That's pretty well stopped now. As far as papers, no cardboard, glass, or plastic containers, no laminate, no clothing, and no styrofoam. Okay, now get back to what you were saying.
Oh, do we need to close that lot of an evening?
Well, it's been discussed before. There's been a little bit of discussion about it. Go ahead and fence it in. Close it from, well, have it open from 7 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon. Monday through Friday. Then the problem's gonna come up, what about the people that wanna bring it in on weekends? You're gonna have a problem there too.
Well, you also have a problem with people that work. I mean, 7:30 to
Yeah,
3:30, they don't get home till 5 o'clock at night.
You have to be open a half a day on a Saturday or something.
I mean,
Yeah, something
You have
along
to
that
be,
line.
yeah. Like I say, Ed keeps the place immaculate, and he spends a lot of time sorting through things. He came in the other day kind of upset because somebody had thrown a snake.
Yeah, I never got to that part yet.
You want to go ahead and tell them what else you found, Ed?
Well, no, we won't go to some of it. But anyway, I was baling aluminum. Then there scraping up. There's a snake in there. I thought it was a rubber snake first. It wasn't a rubber snake. Somebody cut the head off of a snake and threw it in there. And that is not an accident.
What do you think we should do, Ed?
Do what?
What do you think should be done?
I think it ought to be fenced in and, close it down at night. That's my opinion of it.
Could it be closed, kept open till 5 or 5:30, maybe one night a week, and everybody would be informed that one night a week it will be open later, and then the rest of the time?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
And
we
then
work.
have Saturday mornings or something where it's open? I think we need to get the citizens that work later time after work, and if we can publicize it and put it out there so that people know. And then remind everyone what you can and can't do.
Well, it's recycling center, people use it, dump their trash, which they should not be doing. Oh,
Well, they dump their trash down in the park dumpsters too. People just aren't being very polite.
Yeah, but for signs, there's signs on everything, so they, I don't know if they just don't care or what they do, but
Well, they don't care, Ed, because they know you're gonna clean it up, but that's not really your job, so.
There's also surveillance cameras there, but they don't really tell the whole story. It's kind of hard to see license plates sometimes when they're,
the license plates we can't get, which is the bad part.
Can the cameras be
And
moved?
you, if somebody's got something in a box that they're gonna throw into the cardboard bin or whatever, you can't tell what's on the inside.
right. It's just without being staffed, and when nobody's there to watch, they're going to
Right.
do whatever they want to do.
For the time being, with 2 poles and a chain across that driveway, slow this down a little bit.
I think they drive around today. I really do.
Or just set their stuff on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be your next problem you have.
Well, they can dump it outside the fence too, I guess.
Yeah.
Can we
What is-
enhance them cameras where they can read license plates?
We can look at the camera situation.
The
To
example,
me, that sounds more like a thing, you know, that way you know who's doing it, and then you send them, have the police contact them and say you're in violation of, you know, dumping.
And they're, you know, somebody's dumping bottles with dirt in them or lids on them, that's not probably not.
I personally would rather not see the place closed myself. I mean, I know.
We used to spend a lot of quality time down there.
That's right. I mean, when Alco was open, you know, I wouldn't take cardboard down there till midnight, because that's when I had to do that, you know, so, and there's other businesses that use that.
Sure.
And they do that after hours, so I mean, I personally don't like to see it closed, but I think if we check into that camera thing, maybe that might be an alternative, I'm not sure. But
We can
It's
look
just
at more,
me.
we can look at more cameras. We can
You
definitely
got
do
somebody
that.
back there, Matt?
There's a lot you won't be able to tell from a camera.
No, you won't be able to tell what's in the box,
Yeah,
if the
somebody
glass
got
is
that
clean.
right in their hand.
Yeah.
But I think restricting access to that lot during certain hours would also be a.
David, let's, Myron, do you have a comment?
Yeah.
Come, please come up. Or at least a little bit, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I've been taking a lot of cardboard boxes down there, and while I'm there, I do, if they aren't cut when I haul them down, I stand there and cut them and get them flat. But I watch other people during the daytime, it's not all at night. I've watched many of people just come tossing them over full boxes, and some of them are local businesses. You know, they don't take the time to break them down, I guess because they got too many or something like that. But, I wanted to let you know that it does happen during the day hours too.
yes, yes it does.
Yeah.
Well, I
If we
know,
can identify the people doing it, we can handle that part of the problem.
I know who you're talking about on that. And he's been told about that before. He said, well, these signs don't concern me. That's just for the newcomers that come in here. No, that signs concern everybody.
Thank you.
Please give those names to the city administrator, the people that are doing that.
I'll do that off.
Okay.
Sure, thank you.
But
I
anyway,
only know one of them for sure,
yeah,
but I will tell you who it is.
right. We're talking about the same one.
Probably. This is quite often.
Should we type up his comments and maybe put them in, get them out to people, maybe put them in utility bills or something like that?
It needs to go, probably in the newspaper, it needs to go on our TV, it needs to be anywhere we can get it out to let these people know this is a service and they should respect that site. It's not a dump, it's a recycle center.
And it can be closed.
Absolutely, that's the next thing.
You know,
If it's abused, it can go away.
That's true. Well, I know when I first started for the city, I was working out the compost site. I had people come in there, well, I was supposed to be there at 3 o'clock and I was there. People would dump stuff in front of the chain. This happened many times, not just once.
Well, okay. Is there
We'll
any,
work something out, Ed.
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do down there.
Thanks, Ed.
I'll say that I believe, my understanding is the place is much neater and
Oh,
well.
Since Ed's down there, it's day-night difference.
He
Ed
does a
takes
wonderful
pride in
job.
it, he takes pride in it, and we need to help him.
Does a great job.
There's times over by the metal cans that there could use a little bit more gravel over there. Because after a rain, it gets kind of slushy.
Yeah,
Okay.
we know that.
All right, now, the next item, and were you going to talk about Mr. Longstreet?
I just mentioned it.
Well, let Tammy come on up, and I'm going to say something before you get started, but it has to do with something that the city administrator reported. There is a definite procedure for selling city property. I have a copy of a letter from someone who lives in St. Louis, but says he's interested in buying a piece of property, and he doesn't believe that he thinks we can sell this property somehow secretly. And I don't believe that could possibly be done. I think first we have to declare it surplus in an open meeting. And Dave, aren't there a number of other steps?
The ordinance is here, yeah, there's several steps, yep.
What are they?
Has to be, majority of the board has to declare any property owned by the city as surplus. And the Board of Aldermen shall, by motion and resolution, the method of disposition to be used for any such item of property shall state whether such property is exposed for sale at public auction or by receipt of sealed bids.
And we have to then list it publicly.
It's got to be in the paper for 2 weeks. Public notice, public sale shall be conducted by the administrator or by his designee or a professional auctioneer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of, yeah.
It's certainly not something we can do secretly and quickly and behind on closed doors. So I did mention this about 2 months ago. The person wanted me to look into it, and I said I would report publicly on this in a public meeting at this venue. And here we go again. We've got a letter. I would like to answer the letter officially and explain to him this is impossible and he's really shouldn't be worried about it. If we ever do declare it surplus, then there's plenty of time for him to become officially interested in this. And so anyway.
Just clarification here, you're saying property, are you talking about actual acreage?
Yes.
Yeah, acreage at this particular part is at the industrial park.
Oh, okay.
And the man wants to use it basically for personal reasons. He mentions putting a building and maybe doing something out there, but that industrial park is there for industrial development.
Well, yeah.
And for job creation and that sort of thing, not for anything else. So anyway, I don't want her to have to stand here any longer, but that's very important to me because that actually came up and we've been criticized for being secret on this. And we're not secret. Tammy?
Well, good evening. And we are definitely not secret about things in the tourism department. And the last Friday, I happened to celebrate my 10-week anniversary, and I wanted to give you all a snapshot of what has happened in the tourism department since I started a little over 10 weeks ago. I've given you a 3-page report plus some analytics from some of the social media and from our website. I'm not going to go through each point in that 3-page report, but I do want to highlight a few things out of it. I've also provided you with some of the advertising that we have been doing. It is not all of the advertising that we have in print media right now. Just to highlight a few things, number one, the Herman Tourism Commission. I have taken that commission very seriously. I've given each member a binder with the city ordinance, the bylaws that govern them, the membership terms that guide them, the taxed facilities, the tourism revenue report, and some other things that will guide them. And I've also developed some monthly reports to quantify my marketing efforts, which is what I'm handing to you tonight. Missouri Division of Tourism, I have met with them in Jefferson City to talk over a grant that we have, and I'll be acting on that very soon. The Herman Area Chamber of Commerce, number 3, I have worked very hard with Melissa Glenzing, who is the executive director of the chamber, to really form a strong partnership here within our great city. I've been attending the monthly board meetings, and Melissa and I are working toward a memorandum of understanding between the city and the chamber. We've also done a group tours workshop, which was very well attended by 25 people, and you can see the cross-section of who all attended that meeting. We do have a goal to expand our group tours to small business groups for executive meetings and retreats, for men's groups, for days, spa days, and more. So wanted to mention that as well. So very good things happening there between us and the chamber, and I'm very proud to say that. The budget, met with Tricia to go over that. I've met with the Vintners Association on the Herman Wine Trail and talked with them at great length about things that they have going on, and they are just going gangbusters and very excited about what they have going on. Scrolling down to number 8, the Guide to Go is a German Heritage Corridor promotion. Very excited that Herman is in a partnership with the University of Missouri-Columbia and the Missouri Humanities Council to design an app of the Herman Heritage Tour. Many of you are familiar with the hard copy of the Herman Heritage Tour that takes you from building to building and explains who lived there. This information will now be put into a first app for, I think actually for the state of Missouri. Herman will be the first town along this corridor, along the river. We are the pilot project for the Missouri German Heritage Corridor to have this app produced. And the launch goal for this is actually right before Oktoberfest, so stay tuned for that, and we will be making that a very big deal, and very excited to work with the University of Missouri and the Missouri Humanities Council. Shooting on down there to advertising, we have really a great cross-section going on of different advertising avenues. We've got the billboards out there, and I will be meeting with Lamar Billboards this week. Missouri Life magazine, Mark and I just signed a contract for the rest of the year, and we're going to do some very targeted advertising and very planned. Facebook, hopefully all of you have seen an increase in Visit Herman's Facebook postings, and Instagram and Twitter as well. And we do have a Constant Contact e-newsletter, and it is my goal to get that going up again, hopefully in July. Events. Herman has definitely some wonderful events that I've been a great, very, very proud to be a part of. The Worst Fest obviously happened in March, and I worked with the committee to get that marketing plan established and to work on logistics and a lot more. Most notably is the Herman My Fest, which everyone knows is the third weekend of May. The committee has really come together, and there are so many things that are being revitalized that I did not even know some of these things existed in the past. So I'm very excited, and I am so proud of the committee who has worked so selflessly to bring together a very important event for our community. Letter G there, I do have the next meeting as Tuesday, May 3rd. It is actually Thursday, May 3rd, my error. The KD82, which is normally held down at the amphitheater, will be at the Lower City Parks this year. And then the second annual motorcycle rally will be held on Saturday, June 9th, and I've been working a lot of hours to get that organized. I have a great advertising campaign going for that, and we will have some great vendors, food, beverage, and a lot of fun. Number 14 is the Herman Freedom Fest. We've kind of taken the 4th of July and given it a new name. And Tuesday, July 3rd, the Steve Leslie Band will be playing that Wednesday evening, and everybody knows how great of an event we have on Wednesday, July 4th. So we're combining that together because now we have a marketing opportunity where we have a Friday night and Saturday basically in the middle of the week. So we really want to promote lodging, overnight stays, the wineries, the distilleries, the microbreweries, establishments with food and drink, the parade, the municipal band performance, and the amazing fireworks display that you can't hardly see anywhere else over our beautiful river. So I wanted to bring those to your attention, as well as the Herman Wine and Jazz Festival, Saturday, August 18th. All the bands are lined up, and we've just started on some of the marketing for that just a few weeks ago. And Christmas time in Herman. We are definitely working on Christmas already, trying to pull together all of the events and the information that goes on for Christmas, and trying to increase the shopping and the visits to Herman between November and December 24th. So the fourth page there is a page I started last month for the Tourism Commission, and it's a monthly marketing analytics report. And I will probably continue to add to this. You'll see that FY17 for visitherman.com, I only have May and June reports. I hope I can back up and get some other information out of Google Analytics to get some more information for us. But for FY18, we've got visitherman.com information, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll hopefully keep adding and keep growing in numbers there. So, any questions?
I don't have a question, I have a comment, and I'd like to say that this is first time we've seen something like this. And I'm thrilled. I talked to Tammy about things, and she fills me in. But we have a lot of tremendous information here that we've tried to get in the past, and we have not gotten. And one thing I'd like to say, and then I'll let everybody else, the Herman Area Chamber of Commerce part of this is extremely important. And I know she's worked and locked herself away with Melissa and done a tremendous job to get this partnership put together. And I think they're on the right track. I think it's going to happen. I don't have any doubt that it's going to happen, and I think we'll all be better off. So that's what I wanted to say, but thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
One suggestion, the Herman motorcycle rally, make sure the beer's iced down before the motorcycles get here. We might have a ride down there.
You got it. I think we have possibly a new vendor coming on that I think you'll be very happy with.
And one more thing, this is probably more for Tricia. The Herman Tourism Commission, you had put out they no longer have a board of alderman liaison unless you've solved that. I asked my wife and she said, okay.
You can do it.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you'll be happy there too. So. Well, I like sleeping indoors, I asked her. So.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're usually at this point a little earlier in the beginning, but we're here. So we now move to the ordinances. Okay.
Okay, first bill, which is on for second reading, is bill number 2018-14, an ordinance authorizing reclassification of designated land and amendment of the zoning district map of 406 West 18th Street.
I move it second read. Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
All right, next is bill number 2018-15. This one was tabled at the last meeting. It's an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a First Amendment to Memorandum of Lease Agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and MCC Missouri LLC. And as you remember, this was notice to us to approve an assignment of lease, and also there is a change to the legal description of the leased property, and the only change was to describe the parent parcel, as abstractors say, the bigger piece of property from which the smaller piece of the leased area is carved, and that is standard and good practice and all those things, and I think we should go ahead and approve this.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
And next on for second reading is bill number 2018-16, an ordinance to authorize the issuance and recording of a special tax bill for property at 910 Jefferson Street, Herman, Missouri 65041.
Okay, I move it second read.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Unfinished business. We have tonight a discussion of transportation. We have an outline and some information. Dave has worked on this, and I think at this point, that what we're talking about is some regulations for our transportation industry that would improve the safety of the operation for our visitors and everyone, including local people that are on the streets, walking or driving. We are going to talk about this tonight. Dave, do you have anything you want to talk about in this, from this outline?
Not in particular. I think we just open it up to questions from the alderman. It all starts, at everything that the city does starts with state law, and the authority that the Missouri legislature has given you guys and lady to go ahead and pass ordinances to regulate things. And the state has authorized the city to regulate taxi cabs, which we're already doing to some extent, and buses and other public transportation systems. And so if we would proceed with drafting an ordinance or code of or chapter of ordinances, this is, as Mayor said, just an outline of some of the headings that you might see with definitions and various things that would be a part of that. And as I said, it's more or less just opening it for questions or
Yeah,
comments.
it's not an outline of a proposed ordinance that we have somewhere. These are just items to discuss. Is there any automatic discussion of any?
Two things jumped out at me under safety and financial responsibility. Both of these specifically mention bus.
Right.
Is that a generic term for all vehicles, or are we only talking about buses?
Well, no, it would be vehicles used in the transportation industry. And if you look at definitions, there's bus, trolley, limousine, taxi cab, courtesy car, and each one of those would be separately defined, a definition for each one, and then there might be regulations that apply to some but not others. And in other words, the taxi cab regulations may not be exactly the same as the bus regulations or the same as the 15-passenger van regulations and so on.
It should probably say bus, taxi.
That's
passenger.
separate.
Yeah, it probably should, yeah.
Each
But
vehicle.
this is just an outline.
Okay.
And that would be the same with financial responsibility too, it wouldn't just be
Right,
bus.
same
it would be
thing,
all of it.
same thing. Is there anything else, Dave, that you saw that you said? Two things, is that the two things?
That was one first thing that jumped out at me.
I have a question.
Sure.
The last thing talks about fines. Who will be fined? The people that are riding in these vehicles, or the transportation companies, or?
Well, it seems to me that it would depend on the ordinance that they're being cited. If they're drinking on the trolley, that's already illegal. And the person doing the drinking would be the one that's cited. However, we could also possibly write it so that the driver would be cited. I don't know what the state law is, how that works in this state. But drinking, we have an open container law that does apply to buses, sidewalks, any place.
And this is a good opportunity as well to look at the ordinances that we currently have to see if they can be dressed up a little bit to be more effective, such as the open container ordinance. Should it be, I think as it reads now, it says open, O-P-E-N, container. So what if somebody opens up a container and takes a couple of swallows and then closes it back up? Maybe it should be open, O-P-E-N-E-D container. And little things like that, I think now would be a good time to look at those and traffic regulations and see if those can be tightened up. I think it's always a good idea to try to look at and enforce ordinances that we already have.
Any other items that anyone wants to talk about?
So this ordinance is going to have specifics on each one of these things that is listed here.
Could have.
Could have?
Yes, it depends on the alderman. We're gonna have to, this
Well,
is
as much
just an
as it's
outline.
involved in this, what I'm reading here, I don't think you can make a decision. You almost need a workshop on it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, you know.
In fact, we talked about that, and I think that's exactly right.
I mean,
This
it's,
is not for decisions tonight, it's just to introduce this.
This is more or less just the product of a brainstorming among myself of issues that come up in this type of thing. you know,
okay, well, I did
regulations.
a question. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. And, you know, it's already 8 o'clock, you know. People-
No, we're not making
Well,
decisions.
we'll need input on this not only from us, but from the people in the industry.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the medallion fee?
Well, the medallion fee, do you want to cover that fee? I'll be happy to. It's a fee, a use fee that some cities use to, for the opportunity to grant the privilege of operating some type of conveyance, taxi, or something like that in their city. And Dave's done a lot of work on that, and we think that that's one of the options that we can talk about. But probably not tonight.
It's a fee that is charged in order to allow somebody to gain entry into a market. So like New York City, for example, I mean, they can't have everybody who wants to drive a taxi have a taxi, or the street would be even more clogged with taxis than it already is. They've established that there's only so many space for so many taxis, and if you want to buy into the New York City taxi market, you have to pay, I don't know, maybe it's like somebody has to die or they have to give it up, but you have to pay for that license, and it's extremely, extremely expensive. It's not necessarily applicable in a place like Herman. We're not trying to limit entry into a market. It's more or less, it's got to be something else, I think.
And that opens up a big question to me. I mean, we have local entities that are providing this service, but what about all the entities that come in from town that are providing the same service? Or might be here one weekend or maybe 3 weekends in October. I mean, they don't have to pay that medallion fee. How do we address that type of issue? I mean, I guess that could be in the workshop, but that's just kind of
Good question.
is that fair to the local entity that, they gotta pay $180,000 and this guy don't have to pay nothing? I mean, that's just something that I think we have to really look at.
And we have to also see what the real business is. Are those people coming in and driving, picking up people at the train station and taking them out to wineries and so forth? Or are they just coming into town, letting people off, and going and parking their bus somewhere? So we need to look at all that.
Okay.
If they're dropping off passengers for our other trolleys and stuff to haul around, they're bringing them customers.
Right. Okay, I don't want to shortchange anybody. If there's any other questions about this, but tonight was just to introduce this, and I think we should have some workshops to discuss various aspects of it. Okay, well, we're going to cover our transportation people and citizens' comments. Okay, any other unfinished business? Okay, new business. We have one item that I'd like to talk about, and that's curb and gutter ordinance. And I think we have Todd here who wants to talk about that. But we don't have we do have an ordinance which covers curb and gutter and who's going to pay for it. And I believe the ordinance says it can be up to 100% of the cost of the curb and gutter can be assessed to the property owner. And Dave's looking it up now.
You're right.
Okay. And if that's true, then, and I'm pretty sure some people have been charged nothing, some different place, some 100%. Doesn't seem right to me. I think we should decide, and we don't have to do it tonight, but that's why it's under here in new business.
I think what we need to do, jumping back to the other one, we need to kind of have a workshop on that. I mean, there's so many ways to look at that, I mean, street people need to, take their advice and tell us what to do on some of it, but the way the ordinance is and what we voted on tonight and what's been done in the past, I mean,
Well,
we need to have a workshop and sit down and come
That's
to a
fine.
conclusion, and this is the right way to do
That's
it.
fine, and I think that whatever we decide, Bruce, we have to stick with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's why.
Let's find one thing and then let's decide what, no matter where, if it's gonna be in a workshop, let's decide. And then let's stick with it because the street department can't even do their budgets. They don't know if it's gonna cost $50 or $100 to do this particular piece. It's a matter of, the street is about 50% of the total cost. So depending on, it can be all over the board. And that's my problem. That's why it's on here. We need to come to a decision, not tonight. Let's have a workshop and talk about it.
Let's get more planned on that. Todd needs
Todd,
some information.
do you want to,
Not only are the curb, when you look at a street, most people don't look at the curb and gutter. You don't look at the infrastructure underneath the street. Our streets are bad. Our infrastructures are bad. There's very few streets in town that have a good water line. Very few streets in town where they have complete good curb and gutter. Realistically, curb and gutter for one block is about $51,000. And it just makes no sense to do these streets without fixing the infrastructure all around them. And not only that, it's a murder requirement on the sidewalks. If somebody falls down and the sidewalks are uneven, the city's liable for that. So, you know, that's a requirement every year. We've got to show what sidewalks we've had replaced, and we can't legally enforce these people to replace the sidewalk. You know, so that's a problem. So we need to all get together and we need to come up with an answer. I don't know what's been done in the past. I do know that it's been neglected for a long time. And the more proactive we are, I just don't want to see the city get into a big hole. You know, if we have to front the money and then they pay the money back on time. The more proactive you are, farther in the hole you're going to get. You know, because that's paid off over time. So, you know, there are issues. We've got storm drain issues that are terrible. I mean, and that's because there's no curb and gutter in places. You got water running through people's yards. You got streets that aren't as wide as they should be. There are some streets you can't make as wide as they should be. You'd be taking half of the yard from some people and probably their front porches, you know. But, you know, one thing we look at is how much traffic's on that street. Has it been underwater? How often has it been underwater? You know, some of our streets have been underwater more so than others. And those are the ones that usually deteriorate faster. But it's something that we're trying to be proactive with, but we need to be real careful. You know, we need to do this the right way and do it now. I don't know what's happened in the past. You know, we're talking 30, 40 years ago, but whatever we do right now, we need to make the right decision, not only for the city, because I look at my budget every year, but for the citizens too. I mean, nobody ever has any extra money, you know. Nobody wants to pay for their curb and gutter. But we've got to come to some kind of equal base here, you know, and that's all I got to say.
Well, Todd, I appreciate you. I think maybe what we should do, like I said, we need to come to a decision. I'd like to see the board and the street department and Mark and his people get together and then go over the issue. And then let's have an open meeting where the citizens can come and talk about it, and we can discuss it, because, you know, the citizens probably want us to pay, and we don't have the money to pay. It's going to slow down our development of streets, but we'd like for them to pay, and they don't have any money to pay either. So we have a problem. We have
You know, one of the other questions I like to address too that I hear around town is, why do we contract everything out? Everybody says, well, it costs a lot more money. That's not the case. They come in, they get it done. I've got 3 other guys in my department besides myself. We've got one truck. You know, when you're doing asphalt on a street, you have one truck continually rolling, one right after another. And I've seen it done in the past. I've seen streets closed down as much as 2 months. And that's not good for the people living on those streets. You know, you need to get them in there and get it done. In the long run, it's cheaper to contract that out. The street department is basically a maintenance crew. Once you get the street up to par and the curb and gutter, then we can maintain it. But to take on too big of a project with all the other things that we've got to do, it just doesn't work out.
Don't we have to go down to Rolla to get the hot mix to?
We go to Cuba.
Cuba.
We get our hot mix from Cuba when we get a truckload at a time. But like if West comes in and does a street, they own their own asphalt plants, and they go to Pacific or they go to Sullivan, places like that.
And they have truck after truck.
Truck after truck after truck, just rolling, contractors rolling. And
They did 3 streets last year in one day.
3 streets in one day. Our part of it was $60,000, $30,000 per street. If we would have had to tear that street down as us doing it, it would have taken months. You know, so people don't understand. You know, you get in, you get out, it's over with, it's done. And you get a professional job. Can I do concrete? Yeah, I've done lots of concrete. Am I professional? By no means. But if you get a guy in here that is a professional, you're going to get a better job, get a better job on your streets too. So, and that's what we're after. You know, we're after the finished product. That's what we want to look at when we're all done. You know, is the finished product. So, that's all I got to say.
Todd, I think you'll find that the people that usually bitch about things like that don't know how to do it either.
Right.
Yeah, I know, but you still got to listen to them, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, you let it go in one ear and out the other, but you still have to listen to what they have to
I would like to
say.
say one other thing too. I believe that about 5 or 6 years ago, we had a bond issue to fix all the streets, and the bond issue
Yeah,
was voted down.
It was voted
And
down.
that's people's prerogative to vote it down. That's what we have a vote on.
Right.
And so we're left with that, trying to do what we can, what we have money to do every year. And one of our aldermen calls it the pay-as-you-go plan, which is what we're on now. We don't have a big bond issue. We don't have an additional amount of money to do them all or to do half of them. We have to do as many as we can, and we have to prioritize them. I know it's not fast enough for people. It's not fast enough for me. It's not fast enough for any of the aldermen. And I'm sure it's not fast enough for you or Mark or anybody else. But we have to pay as we go. So we're doing it the best we can.
Yeah.
I think our goal is to do, it's not quantity, it's quality. We want to make sure we do
Yeah.
it right the first time, so we're not.
Yeah, I've seen
back and digging
so
up the
many
street.
streets in the past where they go and they put asphalt down, and then a week later, water department's coming in and chopping it up.
Can't
Because
do
water line's shot, or the curb and gutter's no good. It does you no good when you've got a street that does this. Water sits there, and when vehicles drive over water, it makes the streets soft. Your street has to have a dome in it. The street has to have somewhere to go. It has to go to a good curb and gutter that flows to a storm drain, and a lot of places we don't have that. And if you keep your water off your streets, and your water can shed your street's gonna be much better off. So,
And we can't always keep the water off some of the streets.
nope.
And the other thing is, sometimes when we're flooded, we have 18-wheelers and other big trucks and so forth from other places that have to get
And
from
we're-
one side of town to the
We're
other.
hoping to fix that if everything goes right with
Yeah.
the state.
And that's one thing that this emergency committee that has been formed by Mark, that looks into situations like flooding situations and storms and closed streets for other reasons, is going to do a good job for us. And I
Yeah.
think that's a good point, that we have that now. So anyway.
You know, there's a couple type of streets, and I've talked pretty extensively with the guys from West, and they said our best bang for the buck is to go in and mill the street down and overlay the street. Now, you get into some streets that have no base under them, then you're talking big bucks. You're talking major overhaul then. That's one thing you want to try to stay away from, and, you know, hopefully get as many done as you can with the infrastructure that's already there.
When you see a street that is this much higher than the gutter, the curb and gutter, you know it's been actually
Yeah.
resurfaced more
It
times
hasn't
than it should.
been, it hasn't been
We've got to take
ground
that
down,
off.
yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Anything else, Tom?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there any other new business? Okay, what do you all want to do with the minutes? Should we approve them?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion made to approve the minutes and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Invoices for payment.
Second?
We have a motion made to pay the bills and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. A motion to suspend enforcement of the open container ordinance in the MyFest Volks Blocks area, May 19th, 2018, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and May 20th, 2018, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Motion we approve.
Second?
We have a motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Hire Scott Eiler as full-time police officer. Did I pronounce that?
Scotty Eiler.
Eiler, okay. Scotty Eiler. Do we have any discussion on that, or the chief's recommendation?
I will move to approve it on the chief's recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the hiring of Scotty Iver as a full-time permanent police officer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Hire the lifeguards for the 2018 pool season. We do know who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Approved bids for pool shade umbrella.
Is that to replace the one that has been there all this time?
Yes,
I will move to approve.
and I will second that.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Approved bid for Groundman Sales and Service, Inc. for installing underground electric in the Upper City Park.
Make a motion, we approve.
Is this, what is it replacing? I'm just curious.
It's getting all those, that Upper City Park is a mess with the primary and secondary all over the place. It's straightening that mess out, getting the, I don't know if it's a transformer or a junction box that's right in the middle, right in front of the bandstand, get that moved. So we're gonna straighten all that out and get those secondaries run. We're gonna do the major part of the primary, and then they're gonna do the secondary circuits.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Approved bid for Fletcher Reinhardt Company for light standards for the Upper City Park.
I've talked to Jesse about it. These are the lights he recommends and everything, so I move to approve.
Second.
Are these just the lights or is it installation too?
I think they're, Jesse.
Yeah, we'll install them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. A request by Park Ride to waive sign permit fee.
I move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Liquor license, Loose Caboose Saloon, Beth Osler, Managing Officer, for 113 West Fifth Street.
Do we know her?
I make a motion.
Have a motion
Second.
and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Appoint Gary Watts and reappoint Danny Baumstark to the Utility Advisory Board.
I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Appoint Glenn Clifton to the Landmarks Commission.
Make a motion to approve. Or appoint.
I'll second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I recuse myself.
Okay.
Family.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion's carried. Appoint Letitia Roach and Leslie Horseman to the Park Board and reappoint Crystal Binkholder and Wendy Nelke.
I make a motion to approve those appointments.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. City Collector's request to write off delinquent 2014 personal property taxes.
This is something we do every year. The state allows us to write off when they're 3 years delinquent.
These are 3 years delinquent?
They're uncollectible and probably always will be, correct? Just to get them off the books.
This is just the 2014. Okay.
Any more discussion?
I move to approve the request.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Caterers permit, Edelbrand Distillery, Alpenhorn Guesthouse tasting, May 10, 2018.
I make a motion to approve that.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Caterers permits, Fernway Distilling Company and El Ranchito Mayfest both spots, May 19 and 20, 2018.
Motion we approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded.
I'm looking at the application and I don't see El Ranchito. All I see is Fernway.
It's the second one here. Yeah, it doesn't seem expected, but their name on it did it, but the lady from that restaurant, the owner, she signed it.
Okay.
They've got their address. I don't know why they failed to put their name in there, but that is their application. Thank you.
Okay, where were we? Do we have a motion
I'm in.
and a second?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Special event application, VFW Post 4182, soliciting poppy donations, various businesses, May 18, 2018.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, Herman J.C.'s Beer Garden, Music and Bounce Houses, Upper City Park and Pavilion, May 18 to 20, 2018.
Motion we approve. JC.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, River City Cruisers Car Display, 4th Street between Market and Schiller, May 19, 2018.
I make a motion to approve that one.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, 8th Missouri Cavalry, Civil War reenactment, Riverfront Park, East Grassy area, May 18 to 20, 2018.
Only one area you're requesting?
Right.
This year, yes.
You can put them all together in one spot?
Can't
I
bury
mean,
it.
Find it out.
I mean, it's a war anyway, but I will move to approve.
I think they're also going to use in front of the White House Hotel on the back page.
Oh, okay.
It tells you White House Hotel.
Well, they normally have a reenactment out there, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the park and White House
Oh.
Hotel area right there.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, Deerberg Educational Foundation, demonstrations and vendors at the Wagon Works, May 19, 20, 2018.
Approve, make motion approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, Arts Council, ECC, and Herman High School Jazz Band Concert, Amphitheater, May 20, 2018.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
For motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Special event application, St. Paul United Church of Christ, Church Picnic Amphitheater, September 22nd, 2018.
I move to approve.
This is for high school homecoming?
I'm sorry?
This is for high school homecoming?
No, it's a church homecoming.
Okay, I was confused by
Parish.
the word. And it was in September.
September 22nd.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was.
We need a second for discussion, one or the other.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Now we have citizens' comments. Can I have those? First is Ed, and Ed's already spoken, so we will move on to number 2, which is Beth, and she's gone. And number 3 is Kevin Sanderlin. Thanks for waiting. Would you come forward and...
I just got a couple of things. You guys, I encourage the transportation ordinance to take a look at all of it. There's a lot of things I'd like to be involved with. I'd like to ask you, I'd make sure everybody is covered under the proper insurance. Their drivers are proper. You know, that's all good for everybody. I We have no problems changing. If you guys change quite a few things, I would like a couple different trolley spots to pick up with the way business on 4th Street started. Need to look at that. Crown's doing a good job on their historic tours. They blocked that in for 5 or 6 minutes. There's no place to park. We're bringing them down to the German School Museum. It's a little easier. We can when people call to be picked up, we can get them down there instead of in front of that red house over the hill. Then I can get them people now to come up to the German School Museum. It's just, an iconic place. One thing I know, you guys, if we can look at that, I'd appreciate it before maybe you guys get rolling on this other thing. When I started this was fun. It still is. But I also started it to protect people. You guys are all talking about safety. I don't drink alcohol, but boy, I tell you what, I sure deal with people that do. One thing I would consider, the state of Missouri says a bus can have alcohol in it as they drive. I'm not asking you guys to change your laws or your thoughts. I want you to listen. 25 years ago, we had 7 kids, I believe, killed. It almost brought this town to its knees. And then we had a problem. Somebody got stabbed. We almost lost My Fest as we know it. Those are powerful, powerful things. I would like not to have alcohol on my trolleys. Any. Sneak it, doesn't matter. I would like to not have any. Since I've started, I've talked to the state and the county, and you guys can determine the city police. DUIs have gone down. We're doing a good job. You guys got grandkids and kids and having kids having kids. I know where they live. Brian, Dave, your grandkids, I know where these guys live. And so do all of my drivers. We go in safety mode when we make the turn at your place and we stop at your stop sign. When we go into that city park, we know there's one sign that should be moved a little bit, but the one up there by the firehouse is perfect. We know when we go into that parking lot, into the park, we're on safety mode. It's that important to us. This would ruin our business completely, and it would be a mark like those 7 kids getting killed over there if we were to hurt somebody. We know this. We know this. I would ask you to think really hard about your grandkids and your kids and even you guys. When you drink 5, 6, 7 tastings of wine and you drive, you're not supposed to be driving from anywhere back into our city. That's dangerous. Let me be responsible. I'm asking you, I've done this so long, and we bring so many people to this town now. I want to hire a sales manager for the business. We're fielding too many phone calls and too many emails. I can't do it, it's no fun. It's fun, but I just can't keep up, okay? It's growing and it's growing. Let us, all 7 of us that love the little kids, got a little one, let us just think about it. Put us in control of these people that are drinking, and let's get them around safe where they can spend their money and enjoy Herman and come back. That's very important to me. Now, I know you guys might not like it, and from the outside, it's probably not a good idea. But we talked about a new bar, new distillery, a new place to go get alcohol, new festivals, that's all they do is create alcohol. One thing people do not do nowadays is read. It's funny when you guys say, let's put a sign up, and I'm not mocking you. People don't read. We send out invoices, they just do not read. And people do not want to walk anymore. They won't walk from the concert hall to Fernway. Kevin, can you give us a ride around the block? Yeah, we'll go all the way around the block and pull in our parking lot. There it is. This is how people are nowadays. You guys are smart enough, ladies. We can make this work. And if there's bottles thrown out of that darn thing or something, then we expect a ticket. The driver, I don't mind that, and the customer, or boot them off the trolley. We don't allow it. We get out of town far enough where you guys don't see us. We bring in probably 100 people a week from different motels outside of town. We don't allow it. We go to Oak Glen, out of the city limits, or Adam Punta or farther. We don't allow these people to throw bottles out. And we do try to keep them down. in their seats and quit dancing. We have stopped them from being up in front. You've asked us to do that. We're trying to do it. Alcohol is a tough thing to deal with at 3:30 in the afternoon. But I would ask you guys, as much as I love this town and all your kids, trust me and my guys, because they love this town and these kids too. Don't let an accident happen because the trolley's going up and down this street or up and down this highway or up and down here. We can make this work. And like I said, if you don't want that, that's fine. But I sure don't want nobody to get hurt. And I'd like to be a little bit of a part of you guys finishing up. I don't want to change anything, but just want to follow the rules as we try to. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. When you have people that are on your trolley and know they're drunk, do you call the police?
Not unless they get, this is on record, I call the police quite a bit. If somebody's getting out of hand, I call the police quite a bit. Marlon and all them know me, if somebody got out of hand down at the railroad tracks, I call them all the time. We've not had a fight down on my corner since I've started. We have not let people drive their automobiles. We waited until the police got there. They weren't even riding with us. And that's good citizenship. I'm not a police officer, and I don't want to be, and I don't want my guys to be. But good citizenship is to try to save somebody else's life. And it's, we try to, we're going to get better and better and better. We do all the time. And we need lots of help. We just do.
I forgot to time you.
I'll let
I'm
you
sure
go.
your 3 minutes are up.
I'll let you go. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say.
It was interesting, I was listening to you, I forgot, we have a time limit.
I'll tell you one little quick story and I'll get out of here. A lady came up to a bed and breakfast. Her and her husband rented a bed and breakfast from one of our guest houses in town. Not ours, from a bed and breakfast in town, one of our businesses in town. She said, don't ride the trolley and throw $40 away. Why don't you guys just go out and drive? You can get out here, and she's pointing to where it was at. Honest to God truth. You know what happened? It ain't about the $40. I charge $20 a person. It ain't about that. Those guys got a DUI. Now, if they got a DUI and they were driving by your kids on your corner and they accidentally ran out in front, it's just not worth it. You can pick, you can say it, you can be mad at me or not like me. I tell you, we care about this place. And I would hope you guys would keep that in thought when you go through your process.
Kevin,
Thank
I thank you, appreciate it. Just a couple words on my part. About a year and a half, we all wrote together, the aldermen and myself and you and John, and we listened to you and decided we put our bus stops, shuttle stops where you wanted them. And you also told us that you would obey all the traffic laws all the time. All the buses must obey city ordinances specifically related to their operation at all times. No drinking of alcoholic beverages on any bus. Passengers must throw open containers in the trash can before boarding the bus. Quiet zones, including all travel within the Herman city limits between 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. And then it goes on to say this is safety requirements of the drivers. Can hear passengers and be aware of things happening outside the bus. This includes loud music, singing and screaming. Reasonable amounts of noise may be emitted between 9 a.m. and 6. All passengers must be seated or standing using a hand strap. We discussed that. If there's not enough seats or hand straps, the bus is considered overloaded. Each trolley has signs to make each rider aware of the open container law in Herman. Tickets are no longer sold at pickup. Drivers are instructed to wait until the first stop so as to not impede traffic. Pickups and stops are made in areas where the riders do not exit into traffic. Drivers are required to assist riders on and off the trolley. Now, those were things that were agreed to, and the last thing I'd say, and I don't think they're all being obeyed, at least they aren't as far as I can see, and the other thing is, you said it's legal to drink on a bus. That is true on what's termed a fun bus, which means the bus has to start at point A and drive straight to point B and let the people off. All the people have to be old enough to drink. The people cannot, if there's anybody underage, then the whole thing is overthrown. So you'd have to check IDs on everybody you let on. So that's not really applicable to what you do, but we do have an ordinance. So my suggestion is we start over. My suggestion is you work with us like you said you want to. You come and help us. We tried it once, it didn't work, but I'm willing to, and I hope they are, willing to try it again and help. You're the biggest provider of this service, so help us. And we can work together, I hope, and come up with something that's workable for your business and that's safe for all the people who want to use your service and the people crossing the street and driving their cars and everybody else. So that's my thoughts. Does anybody else want to say anything?
I think it'd be good if we all work together, and if we can maybe somehow do more public awareness, because, yeah, that accident was horrible, I remember that day vividly, and those people weren't in Herman when they killed all those people, they were outside of town, so we need to think about when people leave our town, what condition they're in.
Okay. Anybody else? Do we have a closed session? Well, we don't have a citizen's comment.
Just a short comment, it's not long.
It's got to be real short because you didn't fill the form out. So what is it?
Oh, well, I just want to say in Kevin's defense and the defense of people running limousines where they're allowed to drink in them, things like that.
They're not allowed to drink in limits.
According to the state, they can.
No,
Not
they're
in
in
the
our
city
ordinance.
limits.
They can in our city limits. Why don't, Myron, rather than do this, why don't you come to the meeting and you can meet with Kevin and we'll work on that. Okay?
Well,
We'll take any and all suggestions.
I was making a suggestion, you know, some of the people that applied for things tonight, you're trying to maintain them in any building or whatever. Well, when they're in a limousine or on the bus or something like that, you know, they're contained in that.
That's not what
And
I'm
all
asking.
Kevin would have to do is collect the containers and tell, you know, give them a warning that when you step off this bus, you know, your containers got to be sealed.
Well, that could be something we could talk about.
Right, well, that's
But right
what
now-
for that meeting that you was going to talk
Right now,
about.
the
having.
ordinance says they can't have open containers in any vehicles of any type on the sidewalks, streets, and so forth. So it is against the law now. But why don't you come and help us?
We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll consider whatever it takes to get the job done. Okay, do you have a closed session?
That'll be 2 minutes, yes.
All right, we're gonna move into closed session.
I move to adjourn open session and go into closed session for the purpose of dealing with matters relating to legal action, cause of action, litigation, or privileged communications between the city representative and its attorneys.
Second.
Do I have a vote?
Yeah, aye.
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 Okay, we're in closed session. Thank you all, we appreciate it.